And so now I'm going to introduce Marie. Marie Canaves was born in Cuba and then raised in Miami when her family fled the communist revolution in 1961. She has a BFA in painting from Florida International University and a Master of Arts in Art History from Methodist State University in Dallas, where she concentrated on the study of modern European and Mexican art. After graduation, she was curator of education at the Bass Museum of Art in Miami Beach, and then she later relocated to Cape Cod, where actually she founded the Higgins Art Gallery, where the Shoulder to Shoulder exhibition is now up. And until her recent retirement, she served as professor of art history at Cape Cod Community College. And now Marie, Marie has traveled a lot in most of her life, and exhibited widely. But now she is living in Boston, where she is founder of a new organization called the New England Book Artists, which is a wonderful organization for people who love books. And it's my pleasure to welcome Marie.
Thank you, Vicki, for that kind introduction. Much appreciated. I would like to introduce my guest, Susan Porter. Speaking of New England book artists, that is how Susan and I initially connected. Susan is one of those creative people that has a wide range of abilities. She has been a dancer, not a dancer, sorry, an actress and a musician. She's a writer and an arts educator. And one of the things that I know has been very important in her life is the fact that she was basically a pioneer in transformative programs that address social justice through collaborative arts experiences. She's widely admired for her much coveted, vibrant, inventive, life-affirming, dynamic journals that introduce beautiful colors and shapes and interweave them with her own text. The Elliott School of Fine and Applied Arts is lucky to have her as a professor there. And she also teaches workshops on her quote unquote wild journals. Her website is coloringbooksandjournals.com. And I want to thank you, Susan, for participating in the show. As you know, I'm a great admirer of your work, and it really is an honor to exhibit with you. Take it away.
Okay. Thank you, Marie. I'm so honored to be part of this group. And what can I say after that run up? But you know, I wasn't thinking when Marie asked me to be part of this so much about work that I had done during COVID. So what I've brought today and what's in the exhibit are some sample works from book arts that I've done. I started making books in 1970s, and I've done many, many different kinds of book forms, but I have to say that my passion for this recent part of my life, maybe the last 10 years or so, has been journals. And this photo that you're looking at right now is one of my art journals and my actual daily journals that I do. And this particular book was a challenge that I gave myself because I love color so much. I decided to challenge myself to do something only in basically one color. So this is my blue book. The book that I have in the exhibit is similar to this. It's called Second Chance. And it's an altered book that I started. I painted it to make it into a journal. And then I decided it was too small. So I decided that since I had already painted it, I would just do some folding and cutting and punching and all of that. So I don't have a picture actually here of the book that's in the exhibit, but you'll know it when you see it because it's lots of colors and somewhat like this. So the next piece that I have, this was done for a call to the Hamel Gallery, and it's called A Small Museum of Protective Spells. And this is a 3-part accordion that was made basically on the theme of spells. What do people in different cultures use to address the fears that we all have as humans? Fear of the darkness, fear of, being left out. Some of the things actually that we're dealing with right now in COVID, the isolation. So this book was really almost like a research project for me and so much fun to do. And some of the things that I learned that I never would have known if I hadn't done it is that the wedding veil, the idea of a wedding veil comes from many cultures, actually the idea of knots as protection. So this was, one of the many different experimental things that I've done. And then the next book that I have, this, I have to agree with Carolyn that I specialize in work that's really hard to photograph. So this was a commission that I got to create a book. It's a writer's journal, and it was for a woman who was experiencing writer's block. And she wanted something with color and vibrance that was going to inspire her to continue her writing. So this and the next picture, I think, is a detail of this book. It's actually 16 feet long, and I made a box for it. So it was 2-sided, and she's been writing in it. So I wish I had some images of some of the completed work that she's done. But this was another kind of book that I've done in recent years. But during COVID, I've actually been working on a writing project because I'm a writer, which is why I have 70 journals that are, like the one you saw. So this has been a really good time for me in a strange way because the isolation has given me the time to work on this project that I've wanted to finish for 20 years. So I'm going to pass it back to Marie because I know we all have a lot to say, but I just want to thank you. It's been so inspiring to see everybody else's work, and nice to be here.
Thank you, Susan. I just wanted to point out that just over my left shoulder is a small accordion book that Susan gave me, and just terrific, terrific pieces, Susan. Thank you. I'd like to introduce you to a series that began in 2016. As Vicki mentioned, my family and I fled the communist revolution in 1961. So I'm very attuned to authoritarian signs. And I became very alarmed of when Donald Trump came on the scene. At first, I didn't take him seriously. And then, of course, when he got elected, I became alarmed to a much greater degree. What you're looking at here on the screen is the first piece that I did. And I did this in a matter of 3 weeks, immediately after he was elected. And it was in the first show in 2016 that we had as a faculty. The genesis of this piece, which I've called Donald Trump and the Bald Eagle, a conversation in our nation's capital, was the incomparable, reprehensible tenor of the US's 2016 presidential race and Trump's astonishing win, a result which I'm quite sure surprised both Donald and me in equal measure. From my perspective, America had suffered a profound loss, a loss of the ideals of altruism, civility, and integrity that had been foundational since our country's inception. And so I created this little accordion book as a kind of memorial to the US. It was inspired by the flags that honor our deceased veterans. And I used the patriotic red, white, and blue And I made it triangular in shape to evoke flag cases. In each panel, the red and blue triangular panels, the reds have Donald Trump, headshots of him uttering something outrageous, verbatim, quoted verbatim. On the blue side are heads of the bald eagle, which is in this case my avatar, responding to Donald's utterances. Can we have the next slide, please? Now, like Sean, my work has not been political in nature. The political content has really come to the fore with the advent of Donald Trump in our national psyche. One of the things that I was really interested in fact, I had a burning curiosity, was to find out about the origin of the word Trump. And so I did a little etymological sleuthing and found out that the word dates all the way back to ancient Greek and Latin. And the original meanings include triumphant processions, trumpets, and victory. But with the passage of time, it also came to have much different pejorative associations. And you don't see it on the screen, but I did create a miniature version of my Trumpian diary, in which I found 5 synonyms for Trump in Latin. And I chose to use Latin because Latin is a language of the fallen Roman Empire. And the words are as follows: fletus, which means flatulence or blowing; asinus, which means ass or fool; machinator, which means schemer; fatus, which means idiot or gesture; and babulus, or babbler. Need I say more? So that little zine was done in advance of this piece, which I just finished literally the day before the exhibit. And the way I describe it is, well, I've called it dung tongue, D-U-N-G, dung tongue. And I was thrilled to see that there was another protruding tongue in the exhibit in Heather's piece, which I think is just completely captivating and beautiful. At any rate, after 4 years in office, this blathering buffoon has shamelessly uttered some 20,000 lies, gaslighted nearly half of the American voters, polarized and demoralized our nation, deliberately allowed a pandemic to spread unabated, and nearly destroyed our democracy. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally have always been struck by Trump's extra long tie. No doubt it's a fallacious phallic symbol, but our orange leader has the mistaken notion that its length also makes him look slimmer, one of his many delusional thoughts. In my own mental meanderings, his tie has become conflated with his excessive oral protrusion, and I can only see him throwing up his grotesquely long tongue, shaped like one of his trademark long ties, spewing repulsive lies at the American public. And Dung Tongue, my latest work, is the one that's currently on view at the Higgins Art Gallery. Can we have the next slide? Here you're looking at a detail of the piece in which I incorporated different fonts in different sizes. Some of them I distorted. All of them directly quote what he has said, including the bizarre notion that dead people voted, that our election has been rigged, and that he is a perfect physical specimen. Can we go back to the previous slide, please? And so I made his face, I used Photoshop, and I made his face look like it was blowing up, like a bomb. And he's regurgitating this American flag /tie/tongue. And I'm going to be doing another 4 more pieces in this series, and then I'm going to end the series as I'm hoping that that Trump will end his presidency. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie.